Are you looking for some different ideas for your fall decor? Well, stay tuned. Hi, my name is Leslie and welcome to Happy Tuesday, where we do crafts and DIYs and home decor and more. Today I have for you 5, I've never seen them on anybody's YouTube channel, crafts that you can make to add to your fall decor. And honestly, even though I made them, I think they are adorable. So let's get started. And here's a quick sneak peek into all 5 projects. Look at all those pumpkins. And that brings us to project number 1. This one was super simple. Now, when you buy this copper wire, it comes rolled in that little roll, which makes it really easy to make this pumpkin. Now, this particular copper wire I got at Michael's, I believe, in their jewelry section, and it's not the kind of rounded wire. It's more of a little bit flatter wire, and I just love the way it worked to make this pumpkin. So I just pulled out the hoops for as many as I wanted, loops, and then took the very end and wrapped it around. And I decided I wanted a little bit of light, so I added some little twinkle lights to it. And now I'm going to take some of this green floral wire that I bought at, I don't know, Dollar Tree maybe. I know they carry it at Dollar Tree. I think I've had this since maybe my mom bought this for me. Anyway, I wrapped it around itself to make kind of a little stem, and then took some of this cream wire, and I bought that at clearance at Hobby Lobby, and wrapped it around a paintbrush to make a little tendril to add to my stem. And I did that twice and put 2 of those on there. And then I will flatten out the bottom of my little green stem just enough that it'll slide right into that center of my pumpkin, and I could wrap it around just a little bit if I wanted to. So I just took my wire cutters, and I bought these they're not wire cutters, they're pliers, and I just found these needle nose pliers at Harbor Freight. I believe they were like 99 cents or something. So anyway, I am going to just set that in there, and then this project is complete. I love the way this looks so much, and I love the way the light kind of shines off the copper even when the twinkle lights aren't on. It just gives it just a fun and super simple way to make a pumpkin. And then you could make several of these and light up your mantle if you wanted. And that will bring us to project number 2. I love this one so much. It's kind of got that whole boho theme going on. Now, I took a package of the shower curtain rings that I bought from Dollar Tree, and I'd already used 2 of them for something else, and so I only had 10 left in the package. And I took some macrame cord and cut it in lengths at about 3 foot. And then you can see I am just doing kind of a macrame stitch on this. Make 2 loops and wrap one inside the other, and run it over the shower curtain ring, or you can run it under the shower curtain ring. Either way works. And so the shower curtain ring, if you've done macrame stitch before, you usually have 3 cords. The shower curtain ring acts as that 3rd cord, and you just keep wrapping it around and around and around until you have it as full as you wanted. Now, right now I'm showing you kind of a looser stitch, and if you kind of tighten it up a little bit more, or push the stitch up the shower curtain ring a little bit more, then you'll have a little bit tighter looking stitch. And that just depends, I guess, on your personal taste and how many waves of the macrame that you want to be showing. So I'm just going to continue doing this around all of the shower curtain rings. Now, I did all 10 that I had left, but I'm only going to use 8 for the pumpkin. Once I've gotten that done, then I kind of pushed the 2 ends together to cover where the shower curtain ring actually connects together. So I wanted to cover that up, and then just kind of rearranged everything. And then I took the 2 ends and made a knot and secured that very tightly. and then I'll cut those two pieces left over off. And I just took a lighter and I kind of lit those two ends at the knot, and it kind of melts the fabric just a little bit, so you don't want to do it a whole bunch, but it melted it enough that it could, you know, give it a real fine, secure hold. And then I didn't have to glue it, and I just made all 10 just like that. And here I'll show you again, got that knotted, and I'm just gonna take my lighter and light those ends. You can see they kind of melt just a little bit, and flatten those down, and that is all good and secure. And you can see once we've got all of those done, we are just going to take that section where we knotted it together and add some hot glue. Now I use Gorilla Glue, and this is hot glue on a hot setting. And then I grabbed a twig from outside, and I made the twig long enough to be standing out of my pumpkin, but also to be the secure spot to hold all my rings to. And I'm just going to add some hot glue to each of the rings, and I'll start with my outline, 2 on the outside, 2 on the middle. You can see the 4 that I've got going on, and then I'm going to take 4 more and stick them in between each section of 2. So we kind of have a cross, and then we're going to add 1 into the middle. And once we have all 8 of those done, then we will embellish our little pumpkin. Now you'll notice that after I added the hot glue, I just kind of held it together there for a few seconds to make sure that the hot glue actually dried all the way and cooled, and that way everything is secure. And then I just had these 2 leftover leaves from some other previous craft, and I cut off the stems and added a little bit of glue to add them in there. And back to our wire tendrils, and here's my green wire again. And we'll just wrap it around the paintbrush and make our little tendrils, and then we'll just give it a little bit of hot glue and set those in there, and this project is complete. The hardest and longest part was just doing the macrame around the shower curtain rings, and just put on a Netflix movie and go to town. And I just love the way this turned out. It is so adorable. And that will bring us to project number 3. This is probably my favorite project of the whole video. If you're enjoying what you see so far, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and click the bell so that you'll be notified next time I uploaded a video. Now we are actually using a paper towel holder from the Dollar Tree. And I took this thinner twine and cut a length of it off, and we are going to wrap that all the way around the outside edge of our paper towel holder. You want to make sure, because of the next step, that that outside edge is completely filled. And I just added a little bit of hot glue along the way just to make sure that it stayed secure. And the beginning part, I'm not sure if you caught that, I just knotted it on there. And then we're going to take some of that nautical rope from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to use 3 lengths of it for this project. And we are going to hot glue that on, and we're going to wrap this in and out between the outer ring and the inner ring. Now the inner ring will be completely covered, so you don't need to worry about wrapping that separately. But the outer ring, because of the way that it comes around, doesn't end up being completely covered. So that's why we went ahead and covered it with that thinner jute twine to start with. And we're just going to wrap this in and out all the way through. And you can kind of see it makes that little crisscross pattern. And we'll do that all the way until we get to the end of this rope. And then we are going to actually secure the next rope to it by gluing it together. And you can see how nice that comes along. And once you get to that wire on the center, you want to make sure that's completely covered. So I put my nautical rope up there, and then I hot glued it down to make sure that it stayed covering that wire. But we're going to wrap this really tightly and then continue on our way. You can kind of see here, I'm going to do it a little bit slower for you, how we're wrapping that in and out and under, so it gives it that
kind of braided look. And we're going to add some hot glue here and secure our next rope on, and we will continue on. And I made sure to add enough hot glue to get that really secured together. And we will just continue wrapping in and out. And if you'll notice, when you can see in between that outer ring, that inner twine is still showing. So that's why we did it. Once we get to the end, we are going to secure this down. So I'll cut that off, and we'll take our hot glue and secure it down to that wire there and get that covered up nicely. And then we are going to take our nautical rope and we are going to wrap it around the middle. But before we do that, we are going to take our leaf stems, and 3 of these I believe came from the Dollar Tree and 1 came from Dollar General. It was a little bit thicker, so I used 4 in total, but I kind of divided it in half and then made sure that half showed up on one side of that paper towel holder and half on the other side. And then when we wrap that nautical rope around, we're going to split these, and they're actually going to be on the inside of that nautical rope. So to secure them down while I'm wrapping, I just grabbed a little bit of that floral wire and wrapped it around there. And I will take that off eventually, because we'll need to wrap it with the nautical rope. But I needed something to secure it down. So we are going to take some hot glue and wrap the end of our nautical rope underneath. Now the underneath will be covered, and then we're just going to wrap it in and out, and I'm going to push it down real tightly so it covers all of that wire that you can see there. And then you'll notice we're going to wrap this around and through, and I'm going to pull this up really close so you can see. So we separated 2 stems on one side and 2 stems on the other side, and we're just wrapping the rope in between the 2 stems on each side and then around the back side. And that way all the stems get covered up as you're covering up the metal part of that paper towel holder. And once we get to the top, we're just going to add some hot glue. And I got smart and added on one of my silicone fingers, and we're going to secure that down. And once we've got all that secured down, then we are going to fluff out our leaves. Now the leaf stem that I bought from Dollar General was a little bit longer, and so I did trim those down. Now I had this little hanger that I bought from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to take one of these little rounds off, and I'm going to take the paper off and then sand it down, and we are going to glue that onto the bottom of our paper towel holder. And then I got these little fairy garden miniatures, and I'm going to pick a few of those. I got the apples in the basket and the little welcome sunflower. And now I'm going to take a tumbling tower block, and I just kind of mark the edges, and we're going to make this into a little swing. So I am going to use my handy dandy little pink drill, and I'll have that linked for you down below if you don't already have one. I love this, and I bought it on Amazon, and I'm going to drill 2 holes and then take some of that twine and put it down into the hole and knot it off, and this is going to make our swing. And we will hang our swing from one of the branches of the tree. And now I'm going to take some of these pumpkins that I bought from the Dollar Tree, and I am going to kind of tone down that orange color just a little bit. I have some pumpkin color from Waverly that I mixed with a little bit of sandstone. There's that round, and here's where we're going to glue it onto the bottom, and that just kind of gives us a flat place to stand and also kind of finishes off that bottom really nicely. So we're just going to give it a good amount of hot glue and secure that down. But I like to tone down those pumpkins. They're a little bit bright for my taste, and I wanted the leaves to be the bright on here. And then I added some floral moss on, and you can see I've tied that swing into the tree, and now we've got some of these little hay bales that I bought from Dollar Tree, and they come in a package of either 8 or 10. You can also find them at Hobby Lobby. I saw them in their fall section. And we are just going to finish this off by embellishing everything on there. So we're going to add our little welcome sign in front of our tree. And we're just going to secure everything down with a little bit of hot glue. And then we're going to add our hay bales on. And I've got my little pumpkins. We'll take those wires off and secure those on. And then I've got my little fairy pieces. We've got the basket with the apples. We'll add that on there. And I cut a little squirrel, and even though I despise squirrels in my yard, I still think they're cute to add to decor. And that is the whole project complete. I love this. And when I showed the picture to my daughter, she said, you know, Mom, that would be a really cute idea to do for every holiday or every season of the year. You could make a new tree with leaves. And that will bring us to project number 4. This one is so adorable. So before I made that first pumpkin with the copper wire, I actually took my copper wire and stretched out some of the rings and cut it to make 3 separate rings that I am going to use to make this pumpkin. You can see I'm getting an idea of how many I wanted and decided it was 3. So we're going to cut those rounds down with my little tin snips, and I bought those aren't tin snips, those are wire cutters, and I bought those at Harbor Freight. I think they were another $1.98 purchase. And I am going to have the 2 pieces at the top, which will make my stem on my pumpkin, and I'm going to cut all 3 lengths about the same size. And then I'm going to use some of this E6000 and use that to hold all of the pieces of copper together in the center. And I just held that until it secured briefly, and then I'm going to cut a little piece of that black wire, and I am going to secure the 3 pieces together while they dry. And once I've got that wire all good and secured, then I'm going to just kind of flatten it out so I can work with my pumpkin from the top. And I am going to then grab my 3 pieces at the top, and actually it's 6 pieces, and I actually took another piece of wire and wrapped it around to connect those so that they all stay nice and secure. I'm going to wrap that wire around several times, and then I'm going to flatten it to the stem piece. And once I've got that all good and secure, I am going to grab some scrap twine that I have from cutting off of different projects, and we are going to wrap that around the stem to give it that final stem appearance. I was trying to figure out how to make sure that my 3 hoops stayed flat around the base so that I could make sure that it stood up properly. And we're just going to take some hot glue and wrap this twine around the top. And once we get it all the way to the top, then I'm going to wrap it to cover over those top pieces of that copper wire. And our stem is all done. Just trim that last piece off and secure it down with a little bit of hot glue. Now I just grabbed a canning jar lid and twisty band, and these are, you can see, old and rusted, and we're going to give them a good coat of black chalk paint, and then secure the inside lid down to the outside screw cap, and that is going to be our base. I figured that would give us somewhere to secure our floral moss and our little decorative pieces, but it also gives it a flat base on which to sit. And I'm going to grab a couple of these little pumpkins and a few little floral pieces and some acorns and little tendrils and some wire, and we are just going to decorate the inside of our pumpkin with all these little pieces. So you can use whatever matches your decor, whatever colors you want, and get that all nice and decorated. This is a great opportunity to use just little scraps you've got hanging around that you haven't put to use in another project. And I just love grabbing little things and making them into something else. And just like before, I don't like the color of that pumpkin, and so we're going to grab some, this is ivory chalk paint, and I stuck our pumpkin onto a little stick there and gave it a good coat. And then I'm going to grab a couple of pieces of ribbon there. I believe the lacy one came from the Dollar Tree and the other one came from a clearance section at Hobby Lobby. And I am going to just make a little bow there and secure it with some twine and trim off my edges. And we are going to attach that to the top of our pumpkin. And once we've gotten everything in there glued and secured, then I'm also made some little tendrils with some more wire. And that wire, I believe, is black wire. I've got two kinds of different black wire over there to the right, and both came from Dollar Tree. And we're going to secure our ribbon down there, and this project will be complete. I love the way this turned out, and I just think it is super simple and just a great use of scrap pieces to make a project look beautiful. And that will bring us to our final project number 5. And I made a whole video using terracotta pots earlier this year. If you haven't seen it, I'll have it linked down below. So these are a few of the terracotta pots left over. The white one was actually painted white. I was going to use it with the little horse I made, but didn't end up needing it. So I kept that, and now we're going to give those a good coat of chalk paint. Now this chalk paint, I added some sandstone into the pumpkin colored chalk paint, and we're going to give those a good coat. I think I actually gave them a couple coats because that orange almost blends in with the terracotta. And then I added a little bit of black in it, give it a little bit more dimension. And then we're going to grab some antique wax and kind of draw on our little pumpkin dimension pieces, you know, the little rounded parts of the pumpkin, and give it just a little bit more dimension. And once I've gotten those all done, I take a paper towel and kind of wipe those down just a little bit, and then I go back in with a little bit of watered down paint and kind of add that to it just until I get the dimension down the way I wanted. And then I dry brushed a little bit of the sandstone on there, again just looking to, you know, make it look more pumpkin-y. And then we're going to grab some of our paper covered wire, and if you don't have any of this, I love using this in projects, and I'll have that link down below too. I bought that on Amazon. And we're just going to cut a few lengths of that. I'll make tendrils out of it. And I've grabbed some little scrap wood pieces from twig pieces from outside, and we'll use that as the stem for our pumpkin. And then we've got some leftover cloth that I used from one of my other fall videos that I'll have linked down below. And we just rip those off to make it a little bit of decor. And we're going to add some of those little berry picks, and we're going to add some of this little raffia pieces, and just get our little pumpkins all decorated the way you want to decorate them. So, you know, any scrap pieces that you have around will do, and it will be beautiful. And because they're scrap pieces from things you've made for your decor, then they'll match with your decor. And that's why I use that particular fabric, because it matches with some of those other pumpkin pieces that I've made before. And I'll just continue embellishing these pumpkins until I have them looking the way I want. Again, just making those tendrils, wrapping them around that paintbrush, and then securing them down with some hot glue. And then we're going to grab that raffia and cut it into pieces and wrap those around. I'm also going to trim off these pieces of fabric a little bit more. I thought they were a little bit too long, and then I'll fray the edges a little bit, and you'll do that by just pulling extra strings off the bottom as the fabric is woven, and it kind of gives it that little fringe edge or frayed edge. I like the way that looks, kind of unfinished. That's why I ripped the edges off to begin with, because it gives it that unfinished frayed look, and I just love the way that looks. So once we've gotten all that done, here comes our raffia that I mentioned earlier. And I bought this raffia, I want to say at Dollar Tree. I can't be certain. And at first I thought I might want to wrap it into a little bow, but I didn't like the way that looked. And it probably would have looked better if I had longer pieces, but I'd cut them short at this point. So I just decided to tie them and kind of give it that whole rough kind of look. And it matches really well with my decor, and it also matched really well with the other pieces of fall that I have created for this year. So once I finally gave up tying it into a bow, I just knotted it down there and trimmed off the edges, and then add a little bit of hot glue so that it would kind of stay in the place that I wanted it to stay. And I'm going to do that to all 3 pumpkins, and then this project will be complete. Which was your favorite project for today, or which one do you want to try to recreate to add to the fall decor that you're making for your home this year? Let me know in the comments below. And I would love to start a little section where I could showcase some of y'all's projects. Now, if you haven't seen my email, it is listed in the comment section, not comment section, in the description box. It's listed at the very bottom of the description box, along with the rest of my social media, which, to be honest, I'm not really good at keeping up with all the other social media just yet, but I would love to have you email me your recreations of my creations, and see what kinds of things that you guys are imagining with the things that we work on every week. And here it is, all complete, and I just think these turned out so stinking cute. And all 3 of these terracotta pots were actually bought at the Dollar Tree, so they were repurposed from other pieces. And here's another look at all of today's projects. Again, which one was your favorite? Let me know below. And is there anything that you would like to see me create or recreate? You could also email that to me or upload it onto my social media.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really did enjoy our time together. Now, since you stuck around to the very end, I have a hint on one of next week's projects. We are going to jump off into Halloween, but not the scary kind of Halloween, the cute kind. And so you will need a couple of pumpkins, different sizes. I bought these at the Dollar Tree, and some black felt. But until then, make it a great day and happy Tuesday!